Hello there, welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm Phil Hilton and this is the only programme on television dedicated to answering your holiday, cruise and travel related questions. So if you have a question, a query or a dilemma about cruising, travelling generally, here's how to get in touch with us. Our website is www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. It's a great resource. Just go to the clinic page, click on there and send us your questions online through the website. You can also email us directly, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or write to us by traditional post as well. Always good to hear from you. To the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool L22 5NG. Now today we're revisiting a topic we've featured here on the clinic before, river cruising, a fascinating and relaxing way of exploring the waterways of the world. But in this edition of the clinic we're taking river cruising to the next level, 5-star no less, and with a fleet of 15 custom designed vessels cruising Europe, Russia, Vietnam, Cambodia and Africa. We're talking about Waterways, who've set a high standard in river cruising, and I'm delighted to be joined here in the studio by Natalie Ford from Natalie, welcome along. Thanks for telling us about it. Very excited to hear about river cruising today because it's a slightly different way of looking at the world from being on the ocean, isn't it?
Definitely. It's a fantastic way to really get into the heart of the cities and the towns. Travel on 5-star luxury, which is what Waterways is, a luxury boutique company. And as I said, you travel right into the heart of the destinations that you're visiting. So it's a fantastic way to see many parts of the world. Now,
not to be outdone by some of your bigger cruising cousins who are on the big seas, you still offer a huge amount of luxury, entertainment, lovely food and interesting places to visit, don't you?
Absolutely, we do. The great thing about river cruising is that to start with, there's no seasickness because you're on the rivers. So it is almost like gliding along water, which is such a great plus point for us. We dock in the heart of the cities, which is fantastic. People have the flexibility to do their own thing or to pay a part in the excursions available. And I think the main thing is that when you arrive in the cities, they're almost fairy tale-like. You know, when you arrive, the scenery. Of course, as soon as you board, you're looking at land throughout your whole cruise, and you're visiting 6 or 7 destinations in a short space of time.
Of course, because there's always something to look at when you're looking out the window, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is 7 days your average time for a river cruise then?
That's a typical cruise that we offer from Waterways, 7 nights. Varies. We do a really great itinerary, which is a 14-night package called Magnificent Europe. So it starts one end of Europe and finishes on the other. So it's a great itinerary to be able to do.
How do you come up with the ideas? I don't mean you personally, but how does a company come up with ideas of where to go? Obviously, there's got to be a river there, but what dictates, do you think, where people want to go?
I think what we're very good at as a company, we're a small family-run company, and our owners are very involved, so they're always looking for feedback. They're always trying to understand what our customers are now looking for. We've introduced some new product for this year, and also looking for some new product for next year as well. So as an example, we've introduced Africa to our programme, and we've put together a great package on the Zambezi Queen, which is a 4-night cruise, and it's got a land package, so they stay at 5-star lodges and game reserves along the way in Africa.
So you get off the ship at one point and go and look at some fantastic animals. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, the great thing on the Zambezi Queen is that she's on the Chobe River, and you can see the big 5 from the ship. So it's
go on, the big 5 are who?
Oh well, where do we start? Lions,
yeah.
The rhinos,
yeah.
Buffalo,
yeah, elephants,
and
yeah, and some great bird life. Yeah,
definitely,
okay.
Especially on this
trade.
It
Sounds wonderful. But you obviously have to get off, but no hardship really when you're escorted to somewhere as beautiful as Africa.
Definitely not, and I think that's the main thing with river cruising. There's so much to see, and the sights really are incredible. Whether you're on the Rhine in Europe, you're on the Douro, which again is new for us for 2013. Or even Vietnam, Cambodia on the Mekong. You know, there's such diverse itineraries that we offer, and they are hand chosen to make the best for our customers' experience.
Okay. We tend to think of Europe, don't we, when we're talking about river cruising? But as you just mentioned, it's not exactly true to say you only cover Europe, is it? The UK, maybe not, but definitely going out to Europe and some of the more exotic places. You've got a particular favourite one, haven't you?
I have.
That you did in Europe, wasn't it? Tell us about where you went.
The Danube. It was incredible, I have to say. It was my first river cruise experience, and I wasn't too sure what to expect. Of course, Waterways is a fantastic product. My background was in ocean cruising, so I was used to being on the big ocean liners, maybe 2,000–3,000 passengers. But I have to say I was completely blown away. The personal service, the sights I saw on the Danube. Budapest was my favourite destination, I have to say. Yeah,
I mean the Danube, obviously a very famous river, flows through a number of countries. But so where do you know where to start and end?
Well, we offer sort of a back-to-back sailing, the 7 nights, and we've got a few products in our brochure that we can offer. Generally, they would start or finish in Budapest, and then they finish up in Wilshofen or Regensburg. So
is that in Austria?
Up in Germany.
Germany, okay.
So you would come through Austria. You also get to visit maybe Bratislava on one of the dates as well. So there is so much to do and see there. Vienna's a great port of call on the Danube as well. But you know, I keep saying that you stop in the heart of the city, so you see everything as you arrive. There's no worries about the airports coming to and from the transfer, because you're right there.
And can you offer, because obviously the ships are a little bit smaller than some of the ones you'd see from the cruise terminals or something on the ocean, but you still offer that same level of entertainment and hospitality, do you? And diversity?
Absolutely. We do offer an entertainment programme on board. The great thing for our Waterways is that we offer excursions which are included within the price. So a typical day on board our Waterways would be have breakfast maybe 8 to 8:30, disembark about 9:15 to start your morning's tour. So you would go out, you get the option to do a slow-paced group if you're not feeling overly active, or even a late risers where you would catch up the group and do part of the excursion in the morning, come back, have a wonderful lunch, which there's just so much choice from a food point of view, of course. Come back on board for your lunch, and then in the afternoon you've got the flexibility to go out and do your own thing in the afternoon, or to relax and just enjoy the scenery in front of you. Entertainment wise, if we're overnight, say in Vienna or Budapest, anywhere that we would overnight, Paris as an example on the Seine, then we would offer some entertainment, but we tend to bring the local people on board to host, so you get that offshore experience, the onshore experience offshore, so it's fantastic. Yeah,
and it varies from night to night then, so you know, one country might be particular kind of music, particular kind of food, maybe next day, next country, something different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we generally offer it when we're overnight in port, because then we have the flexibility to bring, say, a band in Austria on board, an opera singer, something along those lines, and it's fantastic. The clients really, really enjoy it.
Did you get to see an band while you were?
I didn't. I wish I did. No, but we did have a fantastic band come on, a violinist, and she was beautiful, really, really good.
What's the age group like for river cruising then? If I'm thinking, you know, I quite fancy a river cruise, am I going to be mixing with people of my age, younger, maybe a little older?
I think there is no set demographic. I think traditionally people think it's for the older clients, but that's not the case anymore. You know, people such as myself, you know, what better way to visit 6 major cities or 6 major towns in a space of a week? So, of course, yes, we do appeal to more probably the 50-plus market, but that's not to say that we can't accommodate a younger mixture, a younger demographic.
Sure, and once the band's finished, it's not 10 o'clock and everybody go to bed then?
No, I certainly didn't go to bed at 10 o'clock, I have to say. We have a good mixture of clients on board, Americans, Canadians, Australians. So, you know, you might have a really hectic day, you might be out busy, done lots of, you know, made a lot of use of your time, say in Vienna, and come back and think, I'm going to have an early night. It's not a problem, you can do that. If not, the bar staff will be there until you go to bed, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or 5. So yeah, it's available.
It's always good to have some company if you're in that kind of area though, isn't it?
Yes.
But it sounds good, because half the fun of going on holiday, river cruise, poolside holiday, ocean cruise, is meeting the people and enjoying the stories and getting to know new friends as well, isn't it?
I think so, definitely, and it's so lovely because what we offer in for our dining is an open seating plan, so you don't get assigned a table for every meal. You arrive at the time specified and you enjoy, so you get to meet new people from the cruise, and of course generally we tend to take in Europe about 148 passengers, so that's not very lot at all, and it's really nice. You get to learn about people, where they come from, why they're doing a river cruise. They may have families, so it's really nice to be a part of other people's holidays as well.
Okay, Natalie, stay there for a moment because I want to know a little bit more about where you go, the kind of food we can eat while we're enjoying ourselves, and a little bit more about some of the stories that you've been up to as well in your long association with the travel industry. Natalie Ford is with me, but just let me remind you of our handy cruise guides. Perhaps we've whetted your appetite for river cruising, ocean cruising, anything onto the high seas. Let me tell you about they're both free of charge. You can have one or both by calling 0871 423 4444. Calls cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and as usual calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. Best thing to do is request a couple of copies through our website www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. So while you're doing that and taking a look around, we'll take a quick break. See you back here in just a few minutes. Hello there, welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. Today we're talking 5-star river cruising, but before we go back to my guest here in the studio, let me just remind you that if you have a holiday, cruise or travel related question, here's how to get in touch with our experts. We have a great website that's a really useful resource for travel, holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. If you go to the clinic page, click on there, send us your questions through the website. Email us as well directly, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or you can write to us by post as well to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. Now, Natalie Ford from Waterways is still with me now, talking 5-star cruising on the river, a little bit more serene and a little bit more relaxed, isn't it, than perhaps
Definitely.
heading out to the big oceans, but still as entertaining and still as exciting from the places that you can see and places you can go to, and meeting all these wonderful people as well. I have to say that we were just talking there while the break was on about family cruising, because obviously we have our wonderful guides here, but family cruising maybe not quite as applicable to river cruising as you might think, perhaps?
No, I think, you know, we can definitely cater for families. The main thing for us, we don't have children's entertainment on board, and it is about the cultural, the heritage sites that we offer in the ports of call. So, you know, teenagers, not a problem. Young toddlers could be a bit of an issue.
Sure.
But generally, you know, we would definitely look to accommodate the families on board.
Okay, brilliant. Now you've just got some new ships. You're expanding, going to some wonderful locations. What's new for this year so far?
So for the main thing we've just launched is the Amacerto, a stunning new ship. She's out in the Danube at the moment, and I was lucky enough to visit her not too long ago. Stunning. She's got a pool up on deck, which is new, a new feature for the Ama ships. She's also got a separate dining venue, which holds about 28 people. It's included in the price, but it just offers customers a little bit more choice. So similar to your ocean cruising where you have alternative dining venues, we've now adapted that for the rivers. And one of her main features is that she's now got twin balconies. So it's a great new step forward, innovative idea for the rivers, and you can now sit out on your balcony and enjoy the views as well as being up on deck.
How nice, yes, is that, because it's not often on a lot of river boats you're going, if say you're going on a little day cruise or something, that you can actually get out and sit on the deck, but you can with your ships, can't you?
You can, yeah, on the balconies, but also on the top deck we have 360-degree views of where you're sailing or the port of call you might be in. We have whirlpool traditionally on the majority of our ships. Out in Vietnam and Cambodia on the Mekong we have pools on the ships as well, obviously a bit more of a tropical climate.
I was going to say, is it hotter there, so it's nice to have that to cool off? Definitely.
I mean, there's so much to do and see on them. It's nice, we do have a nice at sea day, or a river day I should say, where you can relax out on deck and enjoy the scenery and have a dip in the pool. Oh, how nice. Is it as exciting when you leave your port of call for the day? Is it as exciting as being on a ship when you leave the port there and there's a bit of a ticker tape parade and everybody waves, you know? Are they as excited to see you go and come as they are on an ocean going ship? Yeah, I would say definitely so, especially if you've got other ships moored alongside as well. You tend to wave to each other and everyone's a bit curious. Oh, that's a nice ship. Oh, we'll definitely do that one next time. And of course the local people are so used to seeing the river ships on the rivers that it's part of their day. So yeah, they give you a little wave. It's quite nice when you go under the bridges or in the locks. It's such a great experience. So the whole experience really is, it's fantastic. Yeah, if you're on board the deck outside, for example, or even on your balcony, it's a closer experience, isn't it? It's right there as opposed to being
right over there.
That's it, and especially when we're sailing, we don't always sail at night, we sail during the day, so you get to see things during the daytime as well. And we'll have some commentary on board, which isn't intrusive. If you're out on deck, you'll get to learn about the places that you're passing on the river as well. So great photo opportunities. Definitely pack your camera.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If you are arriving at Vienna, for example, and you're there for the day or however long you stay, can you do your own thing?
Absolutely. The great thing, as I mentioned earlier with Waterways, is that we offer a full programme of excursions which are included in the price. So it seems a shame not to take them up, of course, but if you're independent and you want to do your own things, you don't even have to come back for lunch. You could do a full day, as long as you're back then for the ship in the evening for your dinner and for the sail away, then yeah, that's fine.
So did you notice when you were on the Danube that during the day the ship was very quiet, and when everybody had gone off on the excursion, was it a nice time to just chill out without anybody being there, or were there a couple of people who did stay behind? Yeah,
you do always get maybe one or two, maybe had a drink too many, then thought they'd join the late risers, which is fantastic, because if you didn't want to go out for the full morning excursion, you can join, and as I said, you know, catch up and do the end part of it, or if you don't want to do as much walking, that's quite a nice option as well. So yeah, definitely.
And if you for example are not away for the day with the excursion and you want to eat and then drink and enjoy yourself, nothing's closed off or anything. And I was going to ask you about meal times. Are there more set meal times on board the ship here rather than you know, because sometimes you don't always want to fit in with everybody else and have dinner at 8 o'clock, do you?
No, I mean on Waterways we do offer set dining times, but it's the open dining. So we generally ask that people would arrive within 30 minutes of the time specified. The great thing with the meals for the evening is that we include all of the wine, the beer and the soft drinks. So people do tend to go down to dinner, and it is a social event. The atmosphere is very good. You get to dine and meet new people while you're on your cruise and enjoy a glass of wine with it.
So is it all inclusive then?
It is out on the Mekong, so we offer branded spirits within the programme, but generally in Europe, for your evening meals you would need to, you have your wine, your beer and soft drinks included for evening meals.
Right. But if you were buying drinks at any other time, do you need to buy a package before you go, or do you need to take some cash with you? If so, what sort of currency are we talking about?
It works very similar to an ocean cruise, so it's a cash-free system. When you embark on our ships, you then register your credit or debit card. You can pay cash at the end, and then you charge everything to your cabin. We do have tea and coffee stations on board, which are free of charge 24 hours a day. So if you wanted an extra tipple after dinner, or even a glass of wine with lunch, then those were the things that you would need to purchase.
If for example somebody's on any of the rivers that you go on, for example, and wants to know a little bit about the history of a place, or read up about an area, or even see something like an exotic bird or some sort of wildlife, is there somebody there who can help you out with that?
Absolutely. All of our tours are escorted, and the great thing about our tours is that they're done by an audio sort of headset. So within each cabin everybody gets the right amount for the passengers in the cabin. You're assigned a group, so you then join the group, and if, like me, you get a bit distracted and start taking pictures, or you see a really nice shop you want to pop into, you can still hear your guide. So it's fantastic, you know, you really get to learn and you're educated along the way.
And when I'm on board and I'm being, you know, I think one of the things I always say on this programme is that the cruise industry is very good at looking after passengers, remembering people's names, remembering what they like to drink, remembering where they've been before and what they like. I presume it's very much the same on the river cruises. Will the crew be able to understand English very well? You know what us Brits are like, you know, do they talk English? Running fish and chips?
Yeah, of course. Our main language on board is English, but the staff, as you said, are so fantastic. They remember the drink. You very rarely have to remind them what you'd like. The personal service, our cruise managers really are so knowledgeable on all of the rivers. They're the people that make it happen and will enhance and enrich your onboard experience. I didn't mention actually what you can do independently. We have bicycles on board in our European programme.
Okay.
So it's a great way. If you're quite independent, you could even cycle between ports if you're really feeling up to it. Some of them could be 15 kilometres in between.
You mean wave goodbye to everybody and then
yes,
go on a
and
bike
hope
and cycle
you see
there.
them. No, we do them escorted, so that's great. But if you're quite independent, you can take the bicycles on shore and do your own thing as well. So it's just an added extra again from our
Interesting
Waterways.
concept, that one. Personally, I thought the idea of going on a cruise was to eat and drink as much as you could in 7 days, but going on a bike would mean that you wouldn't come back looking quite as large as you would normally do, as I would normally do anyway.
Helps you keep the pounds off, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. As long as it's not over the Alps or something to your next
steep
destination.
inclines.
Good. Somewhere in Holland or something where it's very flat.
Where it's flat, or along the Danube, the Rhine would be good places
would be
to
fine.
do so.
Now, you've been in the travel industry quite a long time. I was intrigued to know that you started in travel very early.
I did. I left school and was adamant I wanted to get into travel, and my parents were very much wanting me to do the uni thing and to go forward. But I joined a high street agency and did an MVQ for a couple of years, moved my way up within them and was there for about 8.5 years. Did a little bit of travelling, didn't get very far because I ended up in Europe and that's where it stayed. I was meant to be going on and didn't, and then come into cruising and have been in cruising ever since. So my history was ocean cruising, and now I've made the crossover to rivers, and I have to say it's such a wonderful product, and you know, it's great to be a part of a company and a team.
And you've seen lots of the world, I presume, too?
Luckily enough to have travelled quite a distance.
What was your favourite, one or two of your favourite places?
I haven't been out to Mekong. That's next on my list, I have to say. That's part of what I would like to do. I've done quite a lot of the Caribbean, a few of the typical your Vegas, your New Yorks. From a beach point of view, probably Maldives, but Budapest I'm completely sold on. That's it. I just fell in love.
Interesting. So you're more of a city break queen than you are
I am now. I think I'm changing, definitely.
Interesting. Because one thing I like about Europe is the fact that you can go to a different country and get a different culture within just a short period of time between the two, which I think is great. And I think that's where we score a lot better over Australia and New Zealand, because, you know, you're pretty much in Australia for most of the time. It doesn't change that much. No. And I think we're very lucky in that respect to be in this part of the world. So it's good that you've got some interesting and entertaining places to go to. Quickly tell us about a couple of things we can look forward to for next year. Okay, so for next year we're launching 2 new ships, which will be the Amavida, which is going to be out on the Douro in Portugal. So one of our own ships will be in Portugal, 5-star on the river in Douro, and we've also got the Seine, which will be new for next year, so in and out of Paris for 7 nights. And then finally the Amaprima, which is going to have the twin balconies, the pool up on deck. So all in all, looking good for a good year. Brilliant. Okay, Natalie, well, enjoy your holiday this year. Thank you. Good luck with everything. Thank you for telling us about river cruising today. And just a quick reminder about our 2 handy guides once again. If you want a cruise holiday, know anything about it, if you're a family or new to cruising, 0871 423 4444. Calls will cost you 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. You can also request copies through our website. Have a look at it. It's a great resource for travel questions, learning all about what we do here, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Well, that's all we have time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My thanks again to Natalie Ford from Waterways. Most of all, thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.